Shinato Yatra Nārāyaṇa Swayam adharma prishtato yasman mrityur loka bhayankaraha. Dharma, religion, stanat, from the breast, dakshinataha, on the right side, yatra, wherein, Nārāyaṇa, the Supreme Lord, Swayam, personally, adharma, irreligion, prishtataha, from the back, yasmat, from which, mrityuhu, death, loka, to the living entity, bhayankaraha, horrible. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nārāyaṇa, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. Please repeat the translation. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nārāyaṇa, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. That religion was manifested from the place where the personality of Godhead is personally situated is very significant, because religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as the Bhagavatam. In Bhagavad Gita, the last instruction is to give up all other engagements in the name of religion and take shelter of the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms that the highest perfection of religion is that which leads to the devotional service of the Lord, unmotivated and unhampered by material impediments. Religion in its perfect form is the devotional service of the Lord, and irreligion is just the opposite. The heart is the most important part of the body, whereas the back is the most neglected part. When one is attacked by an enemy, one is apt to endure attacks from the back and protect himself carefully from all attacks on the chest. All types of irreligion spring from the back of Brahma, whereas real religion, the devotional service of the Lord, is generated from the chest, the seat of Nārāyaṇa. Anything which does not lead to the devotional service of the Lord is irreligion, and anything which leads to the devotional service of the Lord is called religion. Presents the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasa Adi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are seeing in the last few verses how different personalities came out of body of Lord Brahma. Not only personalities, certain qualities also were generated from the body of Brahma. We saw the 10 sons from 10 different parts. Now further continuation in this verse and next verse, because when a living entity is created, what and all happens to that living entity? what are the guideline principles, or what are the precautions he has to take care, everything was generated from the body of Brahma only. So here we see Dharmaha stana dakshinato. Dharmaha, the religion, which manifested from stana, the breast of Brahma. And where is the location exactly? Dakshinataha, the south side. Yatra Nārāyaṇa Swayam. And this specific part is the place where Lord Nārāyaṇa personally resides as Paramatma. Adharmaho prishtatah yasman. Then adharmaha, the irreligion, which sprouted from back of Brahma. It's like a shadow. Mrutyor loka bhayankaraha, where death happens. Fear, darkness, ignorance is the cause of death. So where death comes, that is the specific point what is being addressed here, that comes from backside, which we can't perceive, which is not in our visibility. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains what is religion and irreligion basically. He says religion means devotion service to the Lord as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Religion in its perfect form is the devotion service of the Lord, and irreligion is just the opposite. The heart is the most important part of the body, whereas the back is the most neglected part. If an enemy attacks, we would like to protect our heart from all perspectives, but we'll little considerate for the backside. So finally, in the one statement last, it says anything which leads to devotion service of the Lord is called religion, dharma, and anything which does not lead is irreligion, adharma. So one verse was quoted in this purport here from Bhagavatam, which is the very first verse when Suta Goswami started narrating in the first canto, second chapter, which explains about what is this dharma of a living entity, how he can be happy in this world. He says, Savai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Because this was one of the questions. Yenatma suprasidati. How a living entity can become happy in this world was the one question put forward to Suta Goswami. So when he was replying, he says, Savai pumsam paro dharmaha. This is the ultimate religious principle. Paro dharmaha. For whom? For pumsam, for all living entities. Not restricted to certain category. So what is that principle? Yato bhakti adokshaje. To engage in devotion service of the Supreme Lord. Adokshajaha. Adah akshaja, one who is beyond our sense perception, or one who is beyond the material principles, one who is beyond the material modes. In various ways you can get the meaning. Adokshajaha. Then how should that devotion service should be? Ahaituki apradihata. Uninterrupted, unmotivated. Without any expectation. Generally people come most of the times with expectations. We have some problem, we wanted Lord to facilitate that problem or to clear up that problem, to enhance our business, to enhance our financial support, or to give emotional support. Like that, we always expect something out of the Lord. But this is unexpecting anything, not expecting anything in return. And it is not temporarily. It is like we do some commitment for some few days, 11 days, 21 days, 48 days, some mandala, something like that. It is not like that. It is uninterrupted and unmotivated. It is like eternally we have been doing. By which when you engage in that category of devotion service, yayatma suprasidati, the atma, the soul, the person who is there within the body, he becomes completely satisfied. This is the utmost or highest happiness what a living entity can get when he engages in devotion service. And followed after that few verses, then Suta Goswami again concludes by saying, whatever we say, everything is emanation from the Lord only. Because nothing can be created by a living entity. Brahma also doesn't create. Brahma is just facilitating the opportunity. He is a secondary creator. Everything is established by the Lord. Like in the last class we heard, Dharma is established by Nārāyaṇa himself. So what is Brahma doing? He is trying to facilitate all the living entities in a form which Brahma had received, he had put forward to others. So in the conclusion he says, Vasudeva paraveda, Vasudeva paramakaha, Vasudeva parayoga, Vasudeva parakriyaha, Vasudeva Parajnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha, Vasudeva Paro Dharmo, Vasudeva Paragatihi. Anything we take in this material world, everything has an emanation from the Lord, everything has an end with the Lord. So it says, this is the conclusion of all the 6 questions when answered by Sota Goswami. Says, in all the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, Vasudeva Paraveda. The same thing in Bhagavad Gita, Vedasya Sarve Ahameva Vedyaha. From all the Vedas, one should come to the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the same point is again mentioned here. Then, Vasudeva Paramakaha. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please him. Yajnartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Yajna should be for his satisfaction. This is the same point in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Then, Vasudeva Parayoga. The purpose of yoga is realizing him. Yoga Indriya Samyama. The purpose of yoga is to regulate the senses so that it is able to focus upon the personality of Godhead. The 6th chapter aspect is explained in this again, Yoga Indriya Samyama. Then, Vasudeva Parakriyaha. The ultimate fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by him only. Generally, people approach fruitive results because we are all conditioned in this material world. We wanted some allurement to proceed further. So, for anything, Lord is the sanctioner. Even if you go to demigods, it is, Krishna is saying, unless I give, the demigods will not be able to sanction to you. The same point is explained. Then, Vasudeva Param Jnanam. The Lord is the complete knowledge. Janmadiyasya. From him, everything comes into action. Everything comes into the creation. From him, everything emanates. Aham sarvasya pravaha, like the entire 10th chapter, that 4 essence of shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, like that if you take also. The Lord is the source of all this knowledge. Then, Vasudeva Param Tapaha. All austerities are performed to know him. Atato Brahma Jignasa. The endeavor for Jiva to understand about that the Supreme is resulting because the tapasya is meant for the Lord. Then, Vasudeva Paro Dharmaha. Religion is rendering loving devotion service unto him. So the essence of all religion is to render, and first is, the essence of all religion is to identify that I am a living entity. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are all an amsha of the Lord. We are all part and parcel of the Lord. Understanding our original constitutional position is called as Dharma. And acting in that position is the devotional service. So he is the supreme goal of life, Vasudeva Paragatihi. Because everybody wants to go back to him and engage in his service in his eternal world. In the association of the devotees, in the service of the Lord. So that should be the goal of life. So in that way, in conclusion, Lord is all and Lord is everything. Similarly, Rishabhadeva also, while he was explaining to his sons, in the 5th canto he says, Idam shariram mama durvi bhavyam, sattvam hi me hrudayam yatra dharmaha, prishte kruto me yad adharma arad, ato himam rishabham prahuraryaha. That dharma and adharma are emanation from the body of the Lord. Rishabhadeva himself confirms this. He says, Idam shariram, my this transcendental body, looks like an exactly human form. When Lord comes, because that is how he accepts a form which is similar to our form, but it is not a material body. He is Sambhavami Atma Maya. He comes in his own transcendental potency. But it is Durvibhavyam. It is inconceivable for us. We cannot estimate the body of the Lord. And he is not forced to accept a nature because of a particular type of body. He comes out of his own transcendental will. He would look like what he wanted to look like. We don't have that opportunity. And I take on a body on my own sweet will. And my heart is also spiritual. Sattvam hi me hrudayam. That hrudayam is sattvam, very pure when the Lord comes. And for what purpose? He always think of the welfare of all living entities. And specifically for his devotees. Therefore, within my heart can be found the process of devotion service. Yatra dharma. The process of devotional service is found within the heart of the Lord, and which is specifically meant for the devotees. And adharmaha prashtato kruto me. From my heart I have abandoned irreligion, non-devotional activities. Yatra adharma arad. He kept it far, arad. Because they are all generated from the back of the Lord. And they do not appeal to me. Because of all this, Rishabham Prahur Aryaha. All the people, they call me Rishabhaha, the best. Because I have all these transcendental qualities within me, people generally pray to me as Rishabhadeva, the Supreme Lord, the best of all living entities. So Lord here is confirming that religion is from his heart and irreligion is from his back. He would encourage all religious activities and he would keep away all irreligious activities. Because everything is an emanation, because if it is not emanated from the Lord, it has no existence in this material world. Anything we say, everything we say, everything is an emanation from the Lord only. That's what we wanted to impress upon the point here, and what Bhagavatam is impressing. Now, people, are they conversant with the subject? That depends upon how much conscious they are. Like sometimes there was one conversation between Yamadutas and Vishnu Dutas in perspective of Ajamila. So the Vishnu Dutas question, do you know what is dharma? So Yamadutas are answering, Yamaduta uchuhu, Veda pranihito dharmo, hi adharmastad viparyayaha. Vedo Nārāyaṇa sakshat, Swayambhu iti shushruma. So they are saying, Veda pranihito dharmaha. That which is prescribed in the Vedas constitutes dharmaha. So the essence of religion, the essence of information, whatever has been taught in the Vedas is nothing but dharmaha. Veda pranihito dharmaha. Then, hi adharmastad viparyayaha. The opposite of dharma is adharmaha, is irreligion. Then, where did these Vedas come? Vedo Nārāyaṇa sakshat. All the Vedas have emanated from the body of the Lord, or breathing of the Lord. Vedo Nārāyaṇa sakshat. And they are Swayambhu, they are self-born. And how did you get all this information? Iti shushruma. We heard in the parampara system through Yamaraj, our master, we have heard. What is Vedas, what is dharma, what is adharma, we know. Because we are here to carry only people of sinful tendencies. Ajamila had done sinful activities his whole lifetime. See, here the Yamadutas are conversant with only two things, punya and papa. They are not conversant with devotional service, which is beyond this papa and punya. They are first time they are coming across a person which is a situation which is very new to them. But still they are sticking on whatever we have been taught, whatever we have been ordered, we have been following. We know what is dharma, what is adharma. So in that way, even Yamadutas, they are saying, we heard this in parampara system. Iti shushruma. And we know about Nārāyaṇa. So in that way, people are conversant with this subject, but only thing is, practically when it comes to implementation, sometimes because of either benefits or allurement or anything, people divert away from the system. Then Bhagavatam, in the further 7th canto, Narada Muni explains about the different types of adharmaha. There are 5 different types of adharmaha, majorly, and there are many other subordinate adharmaha, irreligious activities. He says, Viddharma paradharmascha abhasa upamashalaha adharma shakah panchema dharmajno adharmavat tyajet. So people who are conscious of religious principles, they should intelligently, technically reject these 5 kinds of irreligion. What are the 5 kinds of irreligion? 5 branches of irreligion are Viddharmaha, or irreligion, or Paradharmaha, religious principles for which one is unfit. By somebody else's religion I am trying to follow, Paradharmaha. Then it is Abhasa, reflection, pretentious religion. Then there is Upadharmaha, analogical religion without any logic. Then it is Chala Dharma, a cheating religion. So, Dharmajnaha, one who is aware of real religious life, Adharmavat Thyajet, he should give up all these 5 kinds of irreligion. And it further expands what are these irreligion. Dharma bhado vidharma syat, paradharmo anya choditaha, upadharmastu pakando, dhambova shabdabit chalaha. So first one is dharma bhado vidharma syat. The religious principles that obstruct one from following his own religion are called as vidharma. We try to follow, but we are not in clearly whether to follow or not follow. There is no clarity, there is no proper guidance. That is called as vidharma, which obstruct our own principles to follow. Then there is religious principles, paradharmo anya choditaha, which are spoken by somebody else, which are practiced by somebody else, which are introduced by somebody else. It is called as paradharma. Then Dambova upadharmastu pakando, a religion which was introduced by falsely proud people or those who oppose principles of Vedas is called as upadharma. Then pakandaha means atheists. So if somebody of this atheistic category, if they introduce religious principles, that is known as upadharma, without any substantial basis. Then finally it is called as Shabdabit Chalaha, an interpretation of jugglery of words. Chalaha means cheating. How people cheat, they say something and do something. So in this religion also they say something and they practice something else, or they say something to be followed and they don't follow. So this is called as Shala Dharma, cheating religion. Then finally he concludes it by saying, Yastu Ichaya Kratah Pumbir Abaso hi Ashramat Pratak Swabhava Vihito Dharmaha Kasya Nesta Prashantaye. So then last one is pretentious religion, Abhasaha. Abhasaha means shadow, a false religion, which is manufactured by Yastu Ichaya Kritaha, by one's own willfully acting, or Pumbir Ashramat Pratak, or neglects the regular duties, prescribed duties of a particular order of life. This is called as Abhasa Dharma, one who doesn't follow his own rules and regulations, which are instructed for his specific ashrama. Or this is a dim reflection or false similarity. But Swabhava Vihito Dharma, if one practices the rules and regulations as guided for his specific varna and ashrama, then Kashyana Ishtaha Prashantaye, why they are not sufficient to mitigate all material miseries. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki. So this false religion, why are these not able to, because they are all not complete systems. They will not give us any respite from all these material miseries. So these 5 things should be tyajet, one who is intelligent, dharmajnaha, adharmavat tyajet, he should give up all these 5 kinds of irreligion. So in conclusion, what are these 5 types? Vidharmaha obstructs the execution of one's own dharma. Paradharmaha, introduced by somebody else. Abhasa Dharma, whimsically worshipping some demigod by imagination and willfully neglecting one's prescribed duties. Upadharma, created by a proud person who opposes Vedic principles, although posing himself as a follower of Vedas. Chala Dharma, misrepresenting or misinterpreting the scriptures by word jugglery. So these are the 5 types of irreligion which had sprouted into this material world. So Prabhupada had explained word dharma at couple of places. He says, dharma means the real occupation of the living entity. When there is a discrepancy in the eternal occupation of the living entity, the Lord comes and introduces the real occupation of life. Any so-called religious system that is not in the line of devotional service is called adharma samstapana. See, when Lord comes, 3 reasons he says. Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya chatushkrutam, dharma samstapanartaya. So what is the dharma which is Lord is establishing? to protect the devotees, to annihilate the miscreants, to re-establish the principles of religion, principle of surrender. That is what actual dharma, Lord comes to revive that principles. So anything contradictory to devotion service is called as adharma samstapana. Then, the real dharma is to surrender unto Krishna, but the rebellious living entity, instead of surrendering to Krishna, engages in adharma, in a struggle for existence to become like Krishna. Therefore, out of compassion, Krishna creates this material world to give the living entity a chance to understand his real position. So this is in conclusion, because why this material world is created? This material world is considered like a shadow. The original is the spiritual world. The same thing aspect is explained in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Ashwatha tree, which is an original tree, we are all in the reflection in the water with roots upside, tree downside, branches downside, which are spreading everywhere. So this is a reflected of the material world. Material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. How you can understand? Everything in ulta here. The spiritual world is consisting of Sat, Chit, Ananda, but material world is in ulta. Everybody wants to live, but we die. Asat. We all wanted happiness, but we are all enforced by distress. Or continuously distress is associated with us, Nirananda. Whatever we see, we want to remember, but we forget. Achit. So, Asat, Achit, Nirananda is the nature of this material world, because it is a reflection, 180 degrees ulta. So that Krishna had created this material world. That's like Prabhupada gives one example. When a child is crying for moon, what will mother do? She will give a mirror. Now child carrying that mirror thinks that moon is within his hand, and he becomes engrossed in playing with that mirror. But once he becomes vexed up, he will throw that mirror aside and go back to mother. So similarly, we are also trying to imitate with the Lord. We all want to become Krishna, and we all are trying to pasteurize Krishna for happiness. So Krishna said, if you want to become like me, there is no opportunity in the spiritual world. So you have to go to material world only. And you have to imitate like Krishna. This is the facility created for us, because everybody wants to lord over. Ishwaranam aham bhogi. That's what our thinking is. We are all the lord of our enjoyment. And in their struggle for existence, everybody are trying to prove themselves that they are the Lord, and everybody are getting lost into the cycle of birth and death. So to come out of this original principle is for which the pure devotees come. They teach to us that this is not your eternal residence. You are struggling hard here. You have to go back home, back to Godhead. And there is one more opportunity for us to understand through various stories what the principles are. Once there was a sage who was practicing austerity on the bank of river Ganges. So there at that time, when he saw one scorpion floating in the water, struggling to survive within the water. So he picked up that scorpion and left it on the floor. But that scorpion bit him and again entered into the water. Again it is struggling in the water. Again, he picked up that scorpion, left it on the floor, it again bit him, and it again started running towards the water. The disciple who was seeing asked that yogi, why are you doing this, sir? It has bit you once, but again you have lifted and brought it back, but again it has bit you. So what are you trying to communicate to us? The yogi says, saving one's life is my dharma, and to bite is its dharma, because it is not grateful. But it is my duty to save it. I cannot abandon my dharma. I have to do my duty. Because he is a sage, he is compassionate for all living entities, he does his duty. Whether the other living entity may utilize that or not utilize it, it is up to its karma. So similarly, Ramachandra also explains about this nature of gratefulness. We see this specific aspect during war about to begin, Yuddha Kanda. At that particular point, Vibhishana had left his brother, came with his few intimate people and surrendered to the Lord Ramachandra. So at this particular point of time, Lord was inviting Vibhishana to be accepted. But the associates of Lord Ramachandra, who like Sugriva and others, they were all little comprehensive. Means whether to accept him or not. At last particular point, if somebody is coming from an opposite side, they are not sure whether what is his nature, what is his intention, whether he is coming out of genuinely to be part of us, or is he like a spy who is going to stay with us, explain all our plans to his brother and see that we get defeated. So they all exhibited their or expressed their intentions to Lord Ramachandra. So when Lord Ramachandra heard all these things, he explained to all the people headed by Sugriva and others. He said with a small story, he says, once a person was passing through a dense jungle. Suddenly a tiger came out and started trying to attack upon him. So out of fear and out of saving himself in that anxiety, he started running hastily. So there he found one tree, tall tree with a huge branches and all. So he started climbing. He came onto the top of the tree and he was gasping because you are out of breath and you are suddenly exposed and all these things and all running, and he was gasping all these things and all. The tiger was not about to leave. He was sitting at the bottom only. He was waiting for the man when he will come down. After many days I got this meal opportunity because tiger got accustomed to drinking human blood. So he wanted to have this opportunity to feed upon that human person who has come. So on the top of the tree, when the tiger saw, there was that human and there was one big monkey also who was staying on the top of the tree. So then this monkey, this tiger thought, now it is an opportunity for me, I will make friendship with that monkey. Then he started saying to that monkey, my dear brother, we are animals and he is a human being, he is from a different person, different place. We all survive here, we have to stay co-jointly. So this person, humans, they are always ungrateful. They try to kill us, they try to kill you monkeys, capture you, they bite you, they hit you, they torture you, they throw stones at you, they make fun of you. So he is your enemy. Now it is best opportunity to take revenge upon your enemy. You throw him down and I will not do anything to you. The monkey said, no, this is not my duty. Even though he may hit me, he may have done, but this person has not done anything to me. It has been done to some other monkey by somebody else. So just because somebody has done something, I cannot take my revenge upon a person. So it is not my duty, I am not going to harm him. Now the tiger thought, let me do something. He started discussing with that human. My dear brother, you are like a great personality. You know, I did not kill you. So do one thing. Now you throw that monkey down. So I will eat that monkey and I will satisfy my hunger and I will go away. I will not harm you. The human thought, yes, it is a good opportunity. So if I am going to be spared, I will just throw this monkey. He threw the monkey down. But monkey, when the tiger was about to approach, it immediately jumped up and got back to the top of the tree. Now, the tiger started saying, my dear monkey, see, this human was ungrateful to you. As soon as I gave him little allurement, he threw him down. Now it is your opportunity, now he has harmed you, now you throw him down. But the monkey says, even though he had been ungrateful, I will never be ungrateful. He may follow the system or not, but animals as we are, we have certain attitude, we have certain respect, and we have certain rules and regulations. We don't just go and hit or somebody, and we don't go and torture somebody, or we don't do all these unwanted things. We are a creature of gratefulness and we are always indebted to that personalities. So when monkey started explaining all these things and all that, after that Lord Ramachandra says, he concludes by saying, monkey said, man may be ungrateful, but we are animals and we are not ungrateful. So that's why Lord Ramachandra took help of all the monkeys and bears, which are ungrateful. He did not have any humans. In that war, in that support, in that building the bridge, everything, all are animals only. Man may be ungrateful, though we are all animals, we are not ungrateful. Lord Ramachandra explained this story. Oh human being, you are considered a superior type of species, but still you are keeping the history of ungratefulness, which is not shown in the society of animals. And this is my mission. I have descended here to establish all sorts of idealism in the human society. This is my mission. If somebody comes to take shelter of me, I never consider his past history. Who is he? What is his history? Is he an enemy from enemy camp? I never think of it. Whoever comes to take my shelter, I give him shelter. This is one specific shloka which Sakradeva Prapannayas Tavasmi iti, like he says, if once a person comes in front of Lord Ramachandra, he says, I am yours from today. Lord Ramachandra takes it so seriously, he says, I give him the complete assurance, abhayam, fearlessness from all his activities, and I give him that assurance that I will not break my promise. So even jokingly somebody comes and says, I am surrendered unto you, I am yours. Lord Ramachandra takes it so seriously. So and he quotes that shloka. So to explain that nature of the person and nature of mentality, we may be ungrateful, but Lord is never ungrateful. This dharma, adharma are the things which human has consciousness, he can discriminate to follow or not follow. So we have to be very cautious enough when we are trying to communicate, when we are trying to preach. Day before yesterday, we went to meet another senior Vaishnava. So he was explaining an opportunity to engage in service, an opportunity to preach is the greatest thing what we have in this material world. Because if we go back home, back to Godhead, that is our aspiration. But whom will you preach there? Because all are devotees there. You don't get an opportunity to preach in the spiritual world because everybody is a devotee. Whom do you get to preach? So if you have to utilize that opportunity, the tendency to preach in this material world is the greatest opportunity. And that can be facilitated by giving Prabhupada, the mercy of Prabhupada to everyone and anyone. So earlier also we had heard that stories, many stories. Maybe the story also had been recited earlier by many devotees. I just wanted to touch upon the glories of association of pure devotees. So once Prabhupada was traveling with some devotees in a plane from Mexico to Caracas. So in between, generally it is a short flight, 1.5 hour flight. So devotees had carried some snacks for Prabhupada. So in that he was carrying, devotees were carrying some puffed rice, muri. So there was one air hostess who was very respectful to devotees and especially to Prabhupada. So she used to come, she used to see the devotees, and even though they are in economy class, she used to come and ask, how can I serve you? Do you want some milk? Because they used to serve many other items, they were asking Prabhupada, do you want some milk? So Prabhupada, okay, said get some hot milk. Even though they generally don't give to economy class, she went and she brought a couple of glasses of hot milk for Prabhupada. Because they used to serve some other things, wine and other things and all, for other people. But because Prabhupada and devotees, they had asked for hot milk and she gave hot milk. Then later, do you want something more? The devotee said, no, we don't eat anything outside. He said, even cut fruits. And devotee said, no, anything not offered to the Lord, we don't accept. So finally, then the devotees were seeing, and Prabhupada said, okay, get that snacks out. So they brought the packet of muri and they opened in front of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada started eating. He took few, put it into his mouth. So suddenly this air hostess came there, Westerner, first time saying what is puffed rice. So immediately put her hand into the bag, picked up few things and put it into her mouth, and she tasted and she expressed, oh, such a nice thing, what is this? And the devotees explained that this is called as puffed rice and this is a snack and we offered it to the Lord, this is prasadam, and since Prabhupada is eating, this is Maha Prasadam. So like that devotee was wondering and he was explaining this in one Bhagavatam class. So this is a very good opportunity that she got the Maha Prasadam of pure devotee. We don't know how, when, where, how impact it will be. So after explaining in his class, then one more devotee who heard this story, he came back and explained to that sir, I have some continuation to this story. We were preaching book distribution in remote jungles of Brazil, Amazon jungles. So we did some Sankirtan there in the village and we were going house to house to do book distribution. I knocked upon a door. Suddenly one lady opened up She had tilak, and as soon as she saw me, she had asked me to come inside the house. So I saw a beautiful house with all the Krishna posters. There is even an altar, and she was chanting the holy name. Then I became very surprised, and I asked her, are you a devotee? How you got in touch with our devotees and all? She said, earlier, 10 years back, I was an air hostess. And first my opportunity was, I met Prabhupada in one airplane. And while getting down, one of the devotees gave me one book, Science of Self-Realization. And after reading that book, I realized that what I am doing is not what I am supposed to do. I quit my job, I picked up more books, I came here to practice spirituality. See, that one small incident of associating with Prabhupada and how a devotee had developed that intrinsic qualities of devotion service. So this is how that Vaishnava association is. This is how the Prabhupada books are. So there was one more small thing, just going across one book distribution impact. There were devotees who were doing book distribution. They had permission to set up for a stall in railway station. So today was their last day. So at the night they wound up everything. They sealed up. They counted all the boxes. They took back to the railway station. They took back to their their temple. And they all slept. And next day morning they got up little late because it was night journey, shifting, everything and all. At that particular point, when they were around having breakfast, they received a phone call. It was from the police station. The inspector was calling. He said, are you so-and-so devotee? He said, yes, sir. What crazy person are you? We were all so panicked. We saw some cartoon box and we thought some bomb or what left in the railway station. And we went and we opened. When we saw it was all books. And we saw the temple number. We immediately called the temple number. Then they gave me your number. You have created such a panic situation among all the people there. Some empty box lying from whole night. We thought it's some bomb or whatever it is. So you have created so much tension among us. Come immediately to railway station, police station and pick up your box. So again 15 minutes he got one more call. He said, yes sir, I am coming very faster. So when he reached the police station, so he was led to the inspector area. Inspector was very silent and very simple. So when he went and he said, don't do all these things until next time. Don't leave these boxes. It creates confusion. It creates fear among people. But something is lying there untouched for a long time. We are also not sure. So then this devotee thought, okay, before going, have you read Bhagavad Gita, sir? Have you heard Bhagavad Gita? He said, yes, I heard, but I have not seen. So would you like to see a copy? So yes, he said. So immediately he opened the box and gave one Bhagavad Gita to him. Then that person started seeing. Then one sub-inspector came there. He started seeing into the book. Then he went out and he brought another more people, another around 8-10 people came. Everybody started saying the book and everybody started saying, one for me, one for me, one for me. So like the 10 books were sold. So in that way, this is like, yes, this is a bomb, but this is a different bomb. Prabhupada said, my books are atom bombs. They will explode in one's life. We don't know when it will explode. So in that way, it exploded in the railway station here, unexpectedly. So this is how that mercy of the Lord, how things happen, how in an unexpected environment also you can do preaching. So this is the mercy what Prabhupada wanted to give upon others. We should take all this mercy and we should pass on that mercy to others. So this is how our spiritual life is. Susukum kartum avyayam. By doing it, we enjoy and we give that enjoyment to others also. So I'll stop here. Any questions about this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Actually, in your class you are saying about the Yamadutas. They only know about Papa and Punya, not about devotional service. Actually, they are all servants of a pure devotee, Mahajana, Yamaraj. How can they be not knowing about devotional service while they are serving a Maha?
So, it's a similar example, many of the associates of Lord Shiva, who is also greatest Vaishnava, but they are all of Rakshasa and that category. So, Lord Shiva says why he is giving an opportunity, because he wants to give them an opportunity to associate with him and get elevation in their spiritual life. So, Yamadutas were also like that category, who had taken birth there, means they are also of condemned nature. They are not aware of certain basic aspects. But Yamaraja is giving them the guidance and association slowly, so that they will be able to rise from their consciousness level. So when Yamadutas go back and they had a conversation with Yamaraja, is there anybody superior than you? And who is this Nārāyaṇa? We wanted to know more about Nārāyaṇa. So at that time, Yamaraj says, it is very good that first time I am hearing the word Nārāyaṇa from your mouth. Means you can understand what kind of condemned people are there living in that Yamaloka. So because they are not in the elevated level, so that's why they are not much aware about devotional principles. If they know about devotional service, they will never be as Yamadutas there. They will not take birth there itself. That's what we understand.
In that same context, Prabhu, will there be any gradations in serving Mahajanas also, Prabhu? With knowledge, without knowledge means?
Yes. So sometimes it is their compassion. They wanted to give opportunity for others who are unworthy of it. Like ghosts, bhuta, preta, pisacha. They are all condemned species. But Lord Shiva gives an opportunity for them to associate with him. And slowly, systematically, they come to a conclusion that like a spiritual master and disciple, then they will be elevated to highest platforms. That Sukriti required for them is provided compassionately by the Mahajanas. Because they are not unworthy, or they are not worthy of, because of their position.
Means can they be called as like we have our employees? They are also serving?
Knowingly or unknowingly, they get an opportunity because of service, and they will get a Ajnata Sukriti. So that's what they accumulate, Ajnata Sukriti. Okay? Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణ వాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 913310